How is she doing? So I'm going to invite up Mrs. Gordon, Sherry Gordon, my lovely bride for over 25 years. What's that? Okay, let's see, Sherry. I trust you, but I don't. Don't be freaky. Okay? Here's Evan. I'll just make these for you. And the winner!
Hey! Oh my God! Take a picture again. Keep one again. What?
This usually happens in a church.
That's amazing.
There's always someone that everybody...
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's pretty
Debbie. Okay, so that's been in this part for us. Eugene, we're going to go on to the next part of the evening. There's still 50-50 raffle. Please donate. All the stuff you get back comes back to you. So please, thank you.
Thank you, Michael, and Charlie, and Charlie, and the rest of the committee. It is very fitting that we are honoring Joe and Kai Friedman today, the 5th day of ER. The 5th day of ER is a day this year where we honor our fallen soldiers, and in most years we feel lost blood. The Friedman's love of our people is clearly evident in their everyday life. Joe always speaks to his children and his friends, and also it's evident in their love of Torah. I, and I'm sure many of us remember, the Friedman children giving Divrei Torah at the annual Tiddur Reader Shalosh Shudas. I think we all remember when Speaker used to climb up to a chair, give it to my Torah that very few of us actually understood. Baruch Hashem, we have known the Friedmans for many years, to the point where fantasy baseball meant that you were playing center field and fantasizing about playing center field with the Yankees. Rabbi Kamenetsky retired as a Marda Asher 15 years ago, and Joe and Kaya wanted to provide Rabbi Kamenetsky with a proper send-off. In that mind, they set off to set up kavushas throughout our neighborhood to finish Kol Torah Kula in honor of Rabbi Kamenetsky. I want to thank you personally because one of the kavushas that were set up were my wife and Blanche Lankman, and they've been learning practically every single Shabbos for the last 15 years, of which you and Rabbi Kamenetsky certainly get much of the credit. Clearly, the love and adoration between Rabbi Kamenetsky and the Friedmans are amply demonstrated when Joe asked Rabbi Kamenetsky to present him and Kaya with this year's Guest of Honor Award.
There's no stand for this microphone, and there's a problem here because Orthodox rabbis do not know how to use a microphone. So if I wind up putting it down and you can't hear me, consider yourselves fortunate. We generally on Shabbos look forward to Joe Friedman really with great suspense on Friday night, telling those who haven't checked whether the Eruv is up. And another role which I cannot in any way emulate at this point is to say, please be seated. Before we're also to hear Maradas or Harav Kaufman. beginning what I hope will be, actually my son Benjamin, who's an attorney now, he started to walk with me to New Brunswick when the shul was there when he was about 3 years old. And he told me, "Daddy, I don't care how long the speech is as long as you speak fast." So I really hope this isn't much of an imposition. If it is, remember Yisurim Ma'amachapim. One greeting I'd like to, in addition to endorsing everything but the unearned, unnecessarily superlatives which Rav Kaufman directed towards me, I just won't repeat. I was always very terrible and would inevitably leave somebody out. So really thank you all. For everything you've done to make this dinner the success that it is. I really want to take the opportunity and to really greet what's essentially our shul emeritus, Jerry Silverstein, who happens to be with us. I don't think a day goes by and that we don't say, were Jerry here, it would have been done already, or who are the 6 people we can ask to do this now? I'd like to focus on one aspect of Joe and Chaya Friedman, and that is the major contribution they make when we're zocha to see them together with their children in shul. To view the interaction between parent and child who happen to be davening at the same minyan, the interaction regarding Torah learning, and what Michael said previously is not an exaggeration. I was there when Zvika made a 15-minute drasha at his Upshernish, which took place on schedule. Rav Meir Simcha of Tuvinsk, and time does not allow for discussing the details of his comments on Ish Imo Va'aviv Tiro V'Shatzosai Tishmoru in Parshas Kedoshim. But please, if anybody wants a walloping experience, a real walloping experience that will blow one's mind, certainly in certain aspects of his discussion, go through it. Rav Simcha, in his discussion, wants to know why we would even think that a parent request would supersede a mitzvah, Shabbos, or any other mitzvah. And he goes on to discuss, which is an extension and an additional phenomenal poignancy, which is already alluded to by the Sefer HaChinuch, the Ramban, and others, where he says in effect that Kibud Av Va'em could be considered as a Havamina, as a Hechsher mitzvah in Kavod and Yirat Shamayim. And that's a point made explicitly in different language by the Sefer HaChinuch. So perhaps, especially if one adds a little bit of the Torah Tmima, if, and please, he doesn't wind up this way, but if a father were unaware that he's asking the child to violate a mitzvah, or if he were only asking this momentarily, perhaps the child should respond to the father's request. Why? And just to quote and paraphrase one aspect of Rav Simcha's discussion, I cannot speak and hold a microphone at the same time, or else I would have been paid much better. He says, Shekol Mostos HaKabbalah Mehar Sinai Hu HaKabbalah HaNe'emenes V'nitna LaMoshe B'Sinai U'Mesara Dor Achar Dor Lazara Macharehem V'Hodiu Banim Livnei Vanim Yom Asher Amdu B'Chorev V'chein Ad HaOlam V'Dor Yivazeh Aviv V'yilag Lemosrei HaKabbalah as Pasak Torah MiYisrael, that the Masorah is contingent on the transmission from parent to child. And when we say parent to child, include grandparent, include mentor, include, if you want, Rebbe, but he uses parent to child. And since it is so contingent, perhaps, as he discusses on the previous page, one might think that that severance of transmission and bonding might be temporarily suspended, because our whole continuity in terms of Torah and mitzvos depends on that cohesiveness. He goes on and he says, of course, we don't say that vis-a-vis, although it's a separate mitzvah, and again, I'm not covering the whole thing, I'm just hoping to whet an appetite. Realize that in this aspect, Kibbud Av V'Aim is really a hechsher mitzvah. It's a prerequisite to Yirat Shamayim. So if one wants to imbue children with Yirat and Kavod Shamayim, one has to do it initially vis-a-vis the parent-child relationship. And Rav Simcha does not say this, but this is not contingent on whether the child is the first one in the family to own a Mishnah Brura. It has to do with the ability of the parent to transfer the transgenerational identity and linkage with Klal Yisrael, even though there may be gaps in the parents' education, etc., etc. And for this aspect, I want to, on behalf of all of us, thank the Friedmans, that the kids and the parents daven side by side, that there's a model of Masorah going on daily and weekly. Someplace here there's a plaque. Why don't you read it when you get home?